I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum. Oh.
That was the great Roddy Piper.
Yep.
Do you know the name of that movie? I can't remember.
They Live.
They Live. I may have seen that movie when I was a little kid, but...
Best line in the whole movie and maybe for a whole decade.
So welcome to the Rhythm Section Podcast. That's Jeff.
Yep.
And I'm Derek. And we are the Rhythm Section. On this podcast, we'll discuss music, interview some great musicians in the Memphis, Tennessee area, and talk about random nonsense. Maybe today we're going to talk about cheetahs, you know? Just stuff like that.
Yeah.
This show is recorded at the SRP Studios in Hernando, Mississippi, and produced by Shelby Row Productions, a podcast production agency. We develop professional podcasts, which include audio and video production, graphic design, copywriting, and social media management. SRP provides a complete launch and development plan and will syndicate your podcast across all major platforms such as Apple and Spotify. To learn more, schedule a free consultation today at shelbyrowproductions.com. Parental discretion for this podcast is advised.
Bam.
How you doing, Jeff?
Awesome, man.
Great to be here.
Yep.
Yeah, man. So real quick, I just want to address that this is episode 2, and by the time this is published, episode 1 will be published. Yeah. Full disclosure, as we're recording this, episode 1 is not published yet.
Right.
But so I don't know what kind of feedback by now, what we're getting or hopefully get. But if you're just tuning in with this episode first, go to episode 1. Jeff and I give a little more context as to what this is about, why we're doing it, how it happened. And then we break into the show and we talk about some fun things, and hopefully you can go check it out. Yep. So on today's episode, we're going to be talking about a cheetah. I thought it'd be cool if you and I shared our personal stories as far as our first show. Not together.
Right.
We may want to tell that again someday because, you know, we talked about that on like our little... our pilot episode that's kind of out in the abyss right now.
Right.
But I think it'd be, because I don't know, if you have told me, I'm sorry I forgot.
No.
The first time you played on stage, paid or unpaid.
Yeah.
So, and then I have my story too.
I try to keep that show a secret.
Well, until now. Yeah. And then we're gonna break out some people that we have booked for interviews. And it's scary sometimes to say that because then someone cancels, it never happens. So, you know, I don't think people keep tabs on this stuff, but we want to share what's ahead.
Yep.
Some of these awesome people that will be coming to your TV screen or your iPhone.
Right.
All right. So last week we talked about pet peeves. So you have one today, Jeff, and you have something that relates to that story from last week.
Okay. So yeah, we talked about first world problems.
Yeah.
And how sometimes we overreact about really stupid stuff. And while I was on the internet here very recently, yesterday maybe, I'm just surfing and I see a legit third world problem. This guy, I'm assuming this was in India. That's an assumption. I don't know, but the dress and the landscape and the guy riding a moped down the street.
The moped is really what
it kind of
sells it.
Yeah, it kind of sells it. But this guy's just minding his own business, and a cheetah tackles him on his moped, knocks him over. And this cheetah's just running through the street there's people around. There's people running after the cheetah. And I thought that was hilarious that you had talked about first world problems. I think I'd rather have first world problems than third world problems.
Well, of course. That's the whole point. Now, I believe the cheetah got a hold of his clothes, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then he dumped off his moped.
Right.
And took off, and then the cat went somewhere else towards somebody.
And he was very fortunate that the cat decided he didn't taste good.
So I was joking with you on the phone. I'm like, I don't know, man. I think my bundled up frozen together ice cubes in my freezers about the same.
Yeah, the guy moving your seat in your car.
That's a bridge too far.
Yeah.
That's a third world problem.
That's cheetah shit right there. Yeah.
For context, in the previous episode, I talked about how just recently I took my car to Toyota, and they do this every time I go there, and they have to drive my car 90 seconds around the building. They're not getting on any main road.
Right.
And they just jack everything up in your car, you know, and especially your seat, which is annoying. But well, someday we'll be able to play these videos and react to them in real time on the video. But that was funny how you what was great about it is you're like, dude, we got to talk about this on the show. I'm like, yeah, we need all the ideas we can get. All right, so let's break into story time.
All right,
shall we?
You're up.
So my first time ever performing, I'll use that term lightly, was when I was 16 years old.
It's about the same time
I was in my cousin's cover band, a high school band, you know, really is what it was. And it was my first band. And the story goes, my cousin Ronnie and I are 4 months apart. But we grew up in different towns, so different schools, same grade and everything. And he had a bunch of cool friends in his high school, and they started a band, and I was jealous. Right. I wanted to be in the band. We both played guitar. Well, the bass player graduated. He was a little older. So I was like, Ron, hey, I'll buy a bass.
Right.
I'll buy a bass amp. I know where I can get some. Can I be in the band? He's like, sure. So that's when I became a bass player.
Right.
And trust me, it took a long time to really play it like a bass. I was playing it like a guitar back then. So eventually, I can't remember I think we played Lenny Kravitz, Are You Going My Way? Are You Gonna Go My Way?
Right.
That one. Oh, maybe Magic Carpet Ride, Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
At a talent show at his school. And so I don't know anyone at this school. Right. It's not my school, which was weird. I didn't know anybody.
Right.
But it went okay, as you would imagine, you know. And then my mom's probably going to feel bad if she's watching this, but I was all high from it, and I was like, man, that was so cool. And I get home, she's giving me hell, like, why were you standing in the dark?
Yeah.
What do you mean? She's like, I couldn't see you on the stage. Like, where you were standing, there was no light. I'm like, sorry, Mom. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
You know? But I thought it was fun. And thing is, I can't remember the second show.
Yeah.
You always remember the first of something, but
not me.
Yeah.
I don't remember much of my first.
Really?
Yeah. So, as a matter of fact, I called my friend Jason yesterday and told him what the topic of the show was going to be today. Mm-hmm. And he said, oh, I vividly remember that show. I said, well, I'm glad one of us does, because he was there. He was helping me set up and just being moral support. Mm-hmm. And I have struggled as a musician with debilitating stage fright from day one.
Really?
It's always been a problem with me.
Still now?
No, not now. I mean, I've gotten over it over the, past, 6-7 years, but it was an issue early on for sure. And that's why I don't remember a lot of that show, because I was petrified. I just wanted to get done and get off the stage. But I remember the band. The guitar player's name was Anthony Rosenthal. He went by Tony Rose. I always thought that was kind of cool. He just shortened Anthony to Tony and Rosenthal to Rose. Tony Rose. That was a great stage
That's way
name.
more rock and roll.
That's rock and roll.
Yeah.
And I remember doing a couple of Dokken covers. We chose really difficult songs as far as vocals are concerned.
I would say, yeah.
And I don't remember much of it, but I'm sure it was terrible.
So what year is this?
I was 16, so 86.
Okay. Yeah, so 16, same age. So mine was 94.
Right.
Somewhere around there.
Right. But it was, you can't call it a performance. It was just a bunch of guys getting out there trying to do something. And
what kind of drum kit did you have?
I believe CB700s.
CB700s.
Yeah, that was.
Please explain to me what that means.
It's just the name of the company that made the drums. They were lower end. You didn't spend big money on DWs back then. So, but so it was a trip, man. It was petrifying, but led to me. I wanted to continue. I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it.
Yeah.
You know.
So when was your first professional?
Probably. I honestly don't remember specifically, but it wasn't long before I played with you and Derek.
So there's a big gap.
Yeah. Oh, there was a huge
you
gap.
had a show when you were 16 and then a show when you were 48?
Well, almost.
Yeah.
Almost, you know, because between there is marriage and kids and college, and there's the big span that I didn't play.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you marry the right person and she says, pursue your dreams, and you get to do that. And that's what I've been doing ever since.
Yeah. Your wife is a saint for sure.
She thanks you.
And I'm only saying that because I know she's watching this.
I make her watch.
Love you, Susan. You know, I still have my first bass. It's an old Washburn.
Wow.
And it had like different knobs on it, like pickup selectors and everything.
Right.
I bought it off of my buddy Matt, and a PV-15, like a 115 combo.
Yeah.
That didn't sound very good. Plus, I didn't know what I was doing. I still don't.
Right.
Like, I'm a simpleton.
Right.
When it comes to
we both
gear.
Yeah.
You know, I just straight into the amp and I set it however I think it sounds okay. And just Ampeg SVT Pro. That's what you get. You know, like, but the bass that I used then and that I still have today is not in good shape.
Yeah.
I mean, it would need major refurbishing, like new frets.
Right.
You know, scrub down that neck. You know, I would need a professional to revive that thing. But someday I should do that.
Right.
Do you still have your first kit? Do you have any of your first instruments?
No clue where any of that stuff is now. Yeah. Well, so you're mentioning gear. What do you play on stage? What is your gear? Give us the lowdown, top to bottom. What you play?
It's I can't remember the exact number. Title of the type of cabs I have, but the amp head is an SVT Pro 7.
Okay.
Just a solid state 1,000 watt.
Okay.
And then I have two 410 cabs.
Okay.
That match it. But what's cool about these cabs is they have air ports at the bottom.
Right.
So what that does is makes the cab like a rectangle.
Okay.
Most any bass cab is square, right? It's a cabinet. It's it's a box, right?
Right.
But now that it's tall, what I did was I bought a second one because when we were starting to work this summer with Derek Joseph, I knew we were going to be on bigger stages.
Right.
And I wanted to just get volume. I took a year and a half off. I wanted to have some fun. So I bought a second matching cab. And what you do is, what I did was lay them on their side.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're like widescreen.
Yeah.
It went from, for social media purposes, it went from vertical reel format, like Instagram Reels, to widescreen Facebook post, right?
Right.
When stacked on top of each other, it looks so cool.
Yeah.
It's just two 410s.
Sure.
Nothing outrageous, but the fact that the size is wide, stacked on top of each other, looks pretty menacing. It's really cool.
Yeah. You wanted to be like the guy in the Italian Job where he wanted to be able to blow women's clothes off. So that's what you bought. Yeah.
And I like to think it could do that if I needed it to.
It could.
We really only got to really test it out one show over the last summer.
And holy crap, did it sound amazing.
Yeah. It was in New York at a casino.
Yep.
Which was weird,
but it wasn't your standard casino. No. They weren't asking us to turn down.
No.
It was a concert.
Yeah, it was a separate room. We were not the typical cabaret setting where we're behind the bar. Yeah. And that sound system and those sound guys knew how to bring it.
Absolutely.
So that was fun. So, while we're shooting the breeze here, let's talk about some people that are nice enough to join us here in the next couple months to tell us their story and just hang out with us. Yeah. And maybe they'll talk about their gear. This is a music-centric podcast. Right now, you just stuck with me and Jeff for a little bit.
Yep. Maybe one more week.
Maybe, yeah. And then here and there,
if
things happen. But we certainly plan on having a guest each week.
Yep.
And I want to give props to my co-host here, Jeff, because he is the booker, which is, such a, weight off my back.
Yep.
And you're doing an awesome job at it. So let's talk about some of the people that are booked. And nothing's recorded yet as we record this. So
right.
hopefully no one cancels after this.
Yeah.
But let's see who's coming down the pipe.
So this past week I started reaching out to people, and the response has been amazing. Everybody has been supportive, and they want to come talk to us. And the first guy that I have booked, actually, he's the second guy I have booked, but he'll be the first one that we air, because Pete Mendillo is just a mentor to me. I wanted him to be the first one that we aired because of all the help he's given me throughout the years. He's just been phenomenal. And the guy has got so much experience as a drummer, national touring experience, local. He kills it on every level.
He played with Survivor, right?
So, Jimmy Jameson. I don't know if it was actually Survivor or if it was just Jimmy Jameson, but it may have been Survivor. But he's played with multiple national acts, and I'm not going to talk too much about that now because I want to talk about it while he's here. But him, I've also got Alan Bone is coming in. He's the drummer for Every Mother's Nightmare. And he has also done local stuff for years. And I wanted him because he was also a big help to me when I started playing live. One of the first guys to let me sit in on his kit with his band at the time, which was Grand Theft Audio, which was a great cover band. So we got those two guys. Let's see, I've got Brandon Marlier, who is he makes the bands in town look amazing. The guy owns a lighting company, and I'll leave it at that and let him talk about that. But so that we've got Josh Haynes lined up and several others. I've got things booked out till January or February.
We got our friend Danny Day.
Yep. Great photographer. He's
every band in Memphis knows Danny Day.
They know Danny, and Danny supports Memphis music and does an incredible job.
He's a cool, side project photographer that just shows up to gigs, and obviously he gets hired, but does a good job about taking some great pictures of bands, and that helps exposure.
That's it. And when he takes the photos, he's got like 5,000 followers or something on Facebook, and he sends it all out. And so you're reaching all those people. And looking forward to getting him in here as well.
You're forgetting about one of your favorite drummers that's coming and joining us.
Oh, well, I'm not forgetting about it. I just didn't know if I wanted to divulge that yet. But,
okay.
But yeah, I'll talk about it. I've got John Patterson is scheduled to come in, drummer for Tora Tora and Fever Tree. John is just, I listened to that guy throughout the 80s and 90s in my car every day on the way to school. Just huge fan. And there will be times when you see the interviewer go into full fanboy mode, and I'll try to dial it down, but it won't be easy.
Aside from you taking the weight off my back as far as just handling the booking, what's also great is you're from here. So you're really pulling up some people that, quite honestly, I've never heard of.
Well,
but that's part of it. It's like I want to be introduced to these people. I certainly have my friends, musicians that I'll be bringing in.
Sure.
But you're really tapped into the original music in Memphis.
Well, I've been here for my whole life, and I have a magnetic personality.
This is true.
Yeah, these people flock to me. They want to, they hear Jeff and they come. So that's just the way it works.
I'm anxious to talk to Pete because I have a funny story that I want to share with him as far as the first time I met him.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he thinks the first time we met was just a few weeks ago when we went to see Area 51.
Right.
And I didn't bring it up because I wanted to save it for the show.
Sure.
But I saw him years ago at the Horseshoe Casino with this cool band, and I can't remember the name of the band, and I just want to ask him about that band and talk about that. But and really nice guy. Pete's really sweetheart.
Yep.
Super
nice.
So that's going to be fun.
Yep.
Eventually, we want to get the studio set up in a way where then we can have two guests.
Yes.
We're going to see how that works. We have yet to test even having one guest yet.
Yeah.
The space is tight. The cameras are this camera and light setup is what it is. We're doing the best we can.
Right.
But we're going to make it happen so we can have 2 guests, because there's some situations where it just needs to be 2 people that are synonymous with the band. Like
no question.
Chris and Tracy Rubel from the Fast Mothers.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Roxy Love.
Yeah.
Andy and Tracy. I want them on here. They don't know it yet, but
yeah, well, they do now.
My good friends Chip Edelman and Chip Doty from Mudflap Kings.
Chip and Chip.
Chip and Chip. So you got to have them together.
Yeah.
Chip and Chip are like Sonny and Bono.
Right. And I reached out to Melanie Pierce of Elevation Memphis this past week, and she wants to come on as well. Yeah. But she usually does interviews with another member of the band. So that'll be a duo.
Who is considered the front person of Elevation Memphis? Do you know?
That's a great question, because they all do so much. Yeah. They're all singers, and I don't know that they have a.
We certainly can't do 3 or 4 people.
No. Two is going to be it, unless I can step out and you can have a third and take over by yourself. That's fine.
So let's have some fun with sounds.
Do it.
What have we not played yet?
We did that one.
I know.
That's the guy on the moped.
Yeah, that's what he was saying for sure. I recorded a bunch today. I just didn't have time to put them in my iPad here.
Sure.
But something like this.
You sound insane. Do you realize that? You should be medicated.
Name the movie.
I have no idea.
Step Brothers.
Oh, okay.
Damn!
That's Friday or one of the Fridays.
Yep. I don't know what this one is.
I'm about to bust.
Oh, that's
it's Hank?
King of the Hill.
Yeah.
I'm about to bust.
I think this is from American Psycho.
Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
I think you're right.
This is Christian Bale. I know that much.
Yeah.
And then that's not a movie.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not familiar with that movie.
Yeah. Hopefully people will enjoy this show. This is episode 2, recording number 2.
Yep.
It's new to us just as much as it's new to everybody else. And certainly for you, this is the first time you've ever really done any kind of podcasting.
Absolutely.
I've hosted several, produced hundreds.
Right.
But never done a co-host. So this is all new and fun. Brand new studio.
Right.
We're here to have fun and not take ourselves too seriously. And that's it. So look, guys, I hope you go back and check out episode 1.
Yep.
And then continue to watch through.
And there's a lot more to come. Be ready for these interviews. You're going to learn so much from so many people.
Yeah. So thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, sir.